Hello there. Welcome to this session on industrial management. We are in Unit 1 Basics of Management. In this session, we will learn about leadership, qualities of good leaders, types of leaders. Later, we will learn about motivation, characteristics of motivation. At the end, we will study hierarchy of needs that was proposed by Maslow. Let us start with leadership. As you can see in this picture, it is the quality of a leader to get that desirable action from follower, and the follower has to inspired by the leader and he has to do with his own will. It is the quality to awake the desire to follow a common objective. Here in this figure, we can see there is a common objective or a goal. In an organization, that common objective or goal could be the project which the team members completing on time. It could be a end product which they are working on. Team leader or the team manager has to inspire his subordinates to complete that task on time. It is a relationship between an individual and group for common good. Here common good is the end output which they are working together. Success of leader depends on certain qualities and characteristics. Now these qualities and characteristics in each person that can come as a gift, that is by birth, or many of them, most of the leader are made using a training that can be organized in an organization. We need to understand it is both like a gift, also many case it will be like a leader by training. Let us move on to the qualities of a good leader. Number one, we have intelligence and technical knowledge. Second one, initiative. Third one, decisiveness. Fourth one, persuasiveness. Fifth, responsibility. Next, ability to inspire. Seventh one, social conscientiousness. Eighth one, positive attitude. Let us look these qualities one by one. First one, we have intelligence and technical knowledge. Of course, the leader should have higher intelligence than his subordinates or followers. Enough technical knowledge to plan, organize, coordinate and control different activity. Now in an organization, if a group is controlled by a team leader or a manager, there are various process going on. There will be different kind of people which will be working on that project. The leader should be able to plan, execute, organize, coordinate between all different activity in the organization. Working knowledge of technology, finance, legal procedures, etc. We are well aware an organization is run by a administration or the management which they propose certain documents or policies or the procedures which need to be followed by each and every person in that organization. These knowledge of that procedure or steps or that legal financial knowledge that has to be conveyed by the leader to their subordinate. So this was the first quality of the leader. Let us move to the next one, that is initiative. It is the capability of taking initiative and starting action. As you can see here, he has to start that activity. He has to take that initiative by himself. Not only starting that task, but he need to keep that balance going on towards the organization process, and that has to be completed on time. He should be able to think, that is he should be able to think before actually it is going to happen, that is planning before doing. Here he need to find the path, that is he need to find the solution for every challenging situation. He must take that initiative and he must take that action very quickly. Let us move to the third one, that is decisiveness. A leader must be able to take decisions and then stick to it firmly. Generally, it is the ability which comes from the self confidence. Here we can see that the time is running in an organization to complete a certain task or to complete a project. Here the quality of leader is to take that quick decision on time so that the process will be running smoothly. Also, he should be very self confident person. He should be well aware about his capability, and he should decide what comes next and what comes afterwards. So these are the qualities which are called as decisive quality of a leader. Let us move to the fourth one, that is persuasiveness. It is the ability to force other for implementing his decision or order. He should convey his thoughts, or he should convey that order of the process completion to his subordinates. Here he should push the limit. You can see in this figure he is pushing the limit. He must be able to understand his capability and he should push to the limit so that the process are going on smoothly in an organization. Let us move to the next quality, that is responsibility. As you can see here, the leader is somewhat kind of a superhero, is the center of attraction. He must be knowing his strength and responsibility, and he should take a ready responsibility by himself by taking those actions. So whatever the plans which he has made, it has to be made into actions. That is the responsibility of a good leader. Next one is to ability to inspire. A leader cannot do all the work in an organization by himself. He must inspire other subordinate. Here inspiring in the sense it is the quality of a leader. He may have that certain quality or that attraction which will gather the group, which will focus toward the group towards him. You can see in this figure the people are inspired by him. So what he is doing, he is doing some task which is out of the box. It is the ability to inspire, or he has to attract the group with his personality or with his skill, so that all the subordinates or the team members are directed towards that common good or the goal of the organization. Next, we will move on to the social consciousness. He should be well aware that he or she is dealing with the human being who will be having their sense of social realization. Here in an organization, all are human being only. Whoever the working people, they are human being. So the leader has to treat them as a human being. He should motivate them. Look here, there is a task which need to be completed. Here there is a puzzle. You can imagine it is like a project of that company. The leader has to inspire people. He has to motivate them so that the individual employee or the team member take that responsibility by himself, and with the mutual help and cooperation, with the unity of the team, that end project can be completed. So that is the social consciousness. He has to believe that he is working with the human being. He cannot be harsh on the other. He cannot be rough on the other. So that is social consciousness. Let us move to the eighth one, that is positive attitude. As I discussed earlier, he is kind of a superhero. So he should be having that positive attitude. He should be hoping for the best. That means here he is taking that jump, or he is taking that risk irrespective of the end result. Whatever the end result, he should expect that is the positive result, and he should take that action, or he should be able to take that risk. So that is the positive attitude which will win, or there is some productivity which is going here in an organization. Next, we will move on to the types of leaders. First, we have authoritarian or autocratic leaders. Next, we have democratic or consultative leaders. Number three, it is persuasive leader. Number four, functional leaders. First is authoritarian or autocratic leaders. As you can see in the picture, these leaders assign duties and responsibility without caring for the opinion of the subordinates. So here he will feel that he never want to share his authority. He is always feeling that he is more superior than any other in an organization. He is usually driving the team or the gang through his command or developing a fear within the followers. Most of the case he'll be using a negative motivation. So these are the first kind of leaders who drive the team with their position, that is with the fear, and usually they'll be carrying out this negative motivation. Let us move to the next kind of leaders, that is democratic or consultative leader. These leaders take decision by consulting the follower or the team member. Many times they act as a moderator, that is media of the ideas suggested by their group. Now these kind of leader represents a group. They always consult their team member in any new project or ongoing project. He will ask for the suggestions, improvement. On that basis he will take some actions and he will convince that action to the higher authority in an organization. So he is the moderator of the ideas which was proposed by the follower. So you can imagine these leaders in an organization which they are not actually commanding. They are very calm and they are very polite, and they will respect each and every one person's opinion in an organization. Next, we will look on to the third kind, that is persuasive leader. These leaders influence their followers due to personal contact. He gives direction personally and the whole group responds as they love and respect him. Here you can imagine this leader, he is an influential kind of person which he'll be having a unique kind of a personal ability to inspire other because of a cherishment. You can imagine he's like a attraction to the other who comes and follow him personally with love and respect because of his ability to influence or to ability to inspire other team member. This was the third kind, that is persuasive leaders. Let us move to the fourth and the final types of leader, that is functional leader. These leaders are able to lead because of their expert knowledge. They win the confidence of follower through their superior knowledge. Here you can see the team members are giving applause to the team leader. Why they are respecting him or they are following him? Because he has that expert knowledge or that specific skill which no one has in that organization. Because of his superior knowledge and because of his unique skill, the team member will follow him, and because of that confidence in his ability or skill, they will complete the task whatever proposed by this kind of leader. Now these were the types of leaders. Later in the organization we also see labor leader who organize trade union. They come into prominence due to their quality of speech, behavior, action. Now these are so much influential person that they will convince the people to bring them into their viewpoint. They will be having some goal or viewpoint. Now because of their skill like a speech, behavior, action, they will influence the other followers or the team member, or usually it is laborers, towards his point of view, and the people will follow him. Next we have administrative leader. Now these, as a word suggests, they come from the management side because of the position and their ability, and mainly because of the experience which is associated with that company. They will work for so many years in that organization. Because of that experience, they will gain some knowledge and skill. Usually you can imagine like a foreman or a supervisor who has worked in that particular kind of organization for so many years, and he has gained that experience and knowledge over the time, and he will move to the higher position because of his expert skill and knowledge with experience. So these are the administrative leaders. Now let us move to the next kind of topic, that is motivation. We all know that we need a daily motivation to do our daily work. That refers to drives, our desires and wishes. All such force within an individual that include the person to do a specific work. For example, if you are getting early in the morning, you need some kind of motivation that you can drive to make that, or you may need a motivation to study, or even for some people we need a motivation even to sit, stand and even to sleep or to eat. So this is like a motivation is a driving force to do that action, whatever the thinking process, whatever the thought, to convert that thought into action. You need some kind of motivation in an organization. Let us see the characteristics of a motivation. The first one is motivation is an internal feeling. This refers to a feeling with an individual that direct them to act in a certain way. Now this is self motivation. It is an internal feeling. The person has to feel within self that kind of motivation. That motivation which will drive towards a common goal or individual goal. This is directed internally. So the motivation is an internal feeling. You yourself has to feel that you have to do that work. That is the first characteristics of motivation. Next thing, motivation can be positive or motivation can be negative. Here in an organization, some people has to be positively motivated. With the positive motivation they will work in the organization. But for some people that doesn't work, the positive motivation does not work. In that case, the negative motivation will be used. Now you have to understand these both are opposite to each other, positive and negative. But in an organization, the manager or the team leader, who are the driving force of that organization, they will use both the positive and the negative motivation. In certain situation they have to use negative motivation so that the work continues. Let us move to the third characteristic, that is motivation is a continuous process. Human needs are infinite and it is a continuous and it is a never ending process. So motivation cannot become an one time event. It is an continuous process. Now you can see in this figure, he is motivated by that money or the end result. Now if that is continuous, it can never be stopped. That motivation, the motivating factor, it cannot be end, it has to be continued. For some people it can be a money, for some people it can be a like a self satisfaction, or some people it can be a passion towards their work or towards the profession. So these are the motivation. It is an continuous process. Next, motivation demands knowledge of human needs. As I discussed in the previous point, for some people the money itself will be motivation. For some people it is a burning desire which we can see in their eyes, that is to achieve something in a life or to achieve that higher position in an organization. So they are self motivated. So it is how it is like fulfilled, that can be fulfilled only through the knowledge, whether he has to reach that higher position or whether he want to become a rich through working in an organization. he need to be having some basic knowledge of work and skill so that he can complete his desire or he can achieve that desire. So the motivation demands knowledge of the human needs. So not only the money, not only the desire, now the knowledge will also act towards that motivation. Let us move to the next, that is the basic human needs or the needs of the human being, that is hierarchy of need, which is proposed by Maslow in the form of a pyramid. As you can see in the figure, it is basically the feeling of that human being, generally who he is and what is the purpose and what are the securities and what are the social need, and at the end, at the top, he will be having some higher level of self actualization. Let us understand this pyramid. Of course, it will start from bottom, that is the major need. It is here in the bottom, that is a specific basic need that is called as a physiological need, which is for survival, that is air, shelter, water, food and sleep. Now in an organization, if the company has to provide these basic need, if that basic need is not provided by the organization or a company, the person or the employee in that organization will not be able to survive. Not only in the organization, he may not be able to survive in the life. So these are the basic need which are much in number. So you can see there the volume of this physiological need is more. So that was the fifth one. So we are starting from descending order. So I have given the number as 5. Next, as the person go towards the higher position in the life, next he demands for the safety and security. You can imagine this security as a job security. He need to be have a permanent job in his life. He need to be having some space in the life, that is having a rented home or a own home, or you can imagine a life insurance which he may take to cover his family. In general, it is the feeling of human need, feel that secured in the life. As we go to the higher, that comes the social need. So there is a word like friendship and family. So each human being is a considered as a family person. He has to mingle with the other person. He has to share his feeling. As we know, the human being is a social animal. Now you can imagine in an organization, it is a sense of being identified with the friends or the group. He has to be having some kind of sense from the other. There can be a communication from various department members. He should not feel that he is alone in an organization. So that was the third social need. As we go higher, in the second position, we have esteem or self-esteem. It is the confidence, or you can say it is the achievement. As the person survive in an organization and has he gains that experience, he demands for a position or a post or that higher position, so that he can be recognized as an individual. Now this is becoming a manager. He'll be having that post name or some amount of respect which he is expecting from the other. So he's reaching that certain level in an organization, so that he can be feel like a self-esteemed, or he can feel as a confident person in need. Now these all qualities can be achieved only when the all bottom needs are satisfied. Now to achieve the higher position, you must understand that all the lower needs has to be achieved by a single person. Now at the top, that is the first position, that is self-actualization. As you can see, it is a creativity, problem solving, authenticity or spontaneity. Here, only a few number of people in this world will achieve this self-actualization position. Many of them may end here when they reach the self-esteem. they can stop in the life. They will not try to that higher position, that is self actualization. Now only in the few in the world they will realize their self achievement, or they will come as a divine power. They will self actualize what is their creativity, what is their ability, or what is their spontaneity. Now they don't believe in any other principle or the law. They will define their own principle and law, and they will influence more number of people in this world. You can understand this person as a person who has achieved many things in a life. You can imagine a person who is a scientist or who is a leader who has achieved that position, and he will be in a commanding way. He may not listen to anyone rest in the world. He'll be having his own desire, own way of thinking, or he'll be having that own way of defining things. Now these were the Maslow hierarchy of need, which is in the form of pyramid. As we go higher, the volume decreases. Now at the bottom, it is a higher volume. That means that needs are more. Only when that needs are satisfied, the human being can move to the next stage in their life. Now with this, I will conclude my session. We have learnt about the leadership, qualities of good leaders, types of leaders, motivation, characteristics of motivation, and at the end we have understood the hierarchy of a need to reach the highest position in the life. I hope you have understood all this topic which were covered in this session. Thank you for patient listening and happy learning.